Here we are looking at the North Pole, and the big question is, where the hell did all of that ice go? This is a real dilemma, and yet you have to look at the fact that ice and water, when it melts, really doesn't create any higher level. And you can see this with the glass of water. You can do the test yourself, and this applies to the open seas where ice is floating around. If it all were to melt, the sea level remains the same. There's no net gain in the height of the water. Now, if it melts off of land masses, that's another story. Here's a Ruski sub melting ice up in the polar region, and chasing polar bears around. Here's three subs rendezvousing, of our nuclear subs rendezvousing up in the North Pole. Here's the Nautilus, the first nuclear sub, and it made a passage underneath the North Pole many years ago. Here's another one, the Salt Lake City, up on the North Pole. And here's a British sub on its way up to the North Pole to melt some ice. And here's another Brit sub at the North Pole. And here is the HMS Tireless up in the North Pole, and it met the American sub. And these subs have about 52,000 horsepower. The Russians are typically bigger, but just 1 horsepower is about 2,545 BTUs. So you run the calculations, and this typical sub might put out 264 million BTUs. That's because the efficiency of the turbine is only about 50%. But when you run the calculations, you're talking about 77,000 square miles of ice, 1 inch thick a year. And you're talking about, at one time, a major Russian fleet that was hiding underneath the polar cap to stay away from us and avoid detection. 177 square miles of 1 inch. The average, 1999, the average thickness was 5.5 feet. If you translate that out, that would equate to about 22 square miles per sub per year being melted. And so who's to know what the real story is? But it must have had some effect. Here's a polar bear, which they hate us. They want to eat us, lead us on demand, on the spot. So I think the seals will be very happy to hear that the bears have something to worry about too. Shouldn't always be one-sided. Here's my missing Ducky the cat, who disappeared about a month ago, and I really miss him. I wish I could find him, but I think he's gone. So let's keep our thinking caps on and look at all the reasons why the caps might be getting thin.